Bear with me because my allergies are destroying my life, my entire life this week. So I'm gonna do my best to not sound like a crazy person. Well, I think it's a little bit too late for that. But we're gonna get started, and I'm actually gonna talk. I'm gonna do another reading. Last couple of videos, I don't think I did a reading. Usually, I do a reading just to kind of confirm the energy going around in the collective and just in general, especially with these videos. Again, if you've been here before, I do not handpick these cards. These cards fly out. I do the reading like literally before I record. I don't plan any of these recordings. These videos are raw. We are raw dogging it. Please don't ban me. But okay. I don't know, and I know you've heard this. I'm sorry, this is very basic, but I really don't know who needs to hear this today, but I think they're in my immediate life circle because the word sacrifice has popped up today. I saw a red cardinal. A red cardinal is kind of like my confirmation bird. I've been talking to birds lately. Um, but yeah, it's basically my confirmation about like what I'm experiencing and what I'm kind of downloading. 'Cause downloads are a little bit difficult for me sometimes. I just don't like to hear the things that I'm being presented. But that's just me. So again, I don't know what's up with the sacrifice thing, but it is definitely something that you need to pay attention to if this reading resonates. Uh yeah, and if you want to skip this reading, by the way, you can skip a couple minutes ahead and then but I'm telling you, man, this word sacrifice, I made a video earlier on my TikTok. It's just like a little short one about sacrifice and love, and that's actually basically what we're going to talk about. I know, I'm sorry I'm so cheesy today, but I gotta pass some things. We gotta digest some stuff, let it pass through us, because you gotta feel it to heal it, right? So, again, I don't know who this is. I really think it's in my personal circle. I don't know. The theme keeps popping up sacrifice. And I don't know if it's like something in your personal life that you need to sacrifice, if it's your work life, work ethic, or just, I don't know, maybe you gotta make some decisions about destroying your ego. I don't know. I have no idea what it is, but you gotta sacrifice something or understand the theme of sacrifice in general. Maybe contemplate what that even means. If it resonates, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's what she's talking about. This is your confirmation. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it means, but the hangman, maybe he's not sacrificing himself, but he's he's hung up, and I don't know. It represents the same theme to me, honestly, because this guy, he's dangling there, and he looks pretty chill. He looks like he kind of made that decision himself, and it's the number 12. Together, three, Trinity, you do the math. It's not really math, but you're wanting. Oh, these cards are upside down. You're gonna want to check in on the effort that you've been putting in. I don't know. I'm thinking it's the relationship part, or if it's just a theme of whatever you're doing, it's unstable, it's not working out for you. Maybe you need to kind of take a step back and maybe analyze what you've been doing, or maybe the situation that you're in, you need to separate yourself from it so you can either understand it better, or you just something's not going right is basically what I'm hearing. Like something either you're putting in not enough effort, too much effort, or there's just something going on. It's just not in alignment and it's not working out. So maybe just reevaluate what you're doing and rest. Rest, my dear friend. Rest from that strife. Rest from all that stress. Whatever is piling up on you, let it go. It is. It is here. It's chilling. It's in the air. I know there's nothing you can do to avoid it. I'm so sorry, but you're gonna have to let it go. I love my friends. I love these people in my life, but there's so much chaos energy going around. I'm not necessarily just completely self-isolated, but I've separated myself from a lot of situations right now because there's just some things that are out of my control, and if you're not in control of it or can't handle it, I wouldn't necessarily control. You're not in control of a lot of things, by the way, but my point is just let it go, let it flow. Let it go, let it flow. That is the theme for today. So I hope there's some type of connection. I hope you can figure out what exactly it meant by sacrifice, because I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't want to sit here and give you the wrong type of energy either, but maybe just try to reevaluate whatever you've been going through, reevaluate the situations, communication, something like that. So, okay, I know. It's really hard to understand me. My nose is stuffy. I'm sorry. But it's okay. So this is the theme. This is what we're going to talk about. And I know that it can be pretty obvious, but a lot of us get really caught up in connections. We get really caught up in love. We get really caught up in our emotions and our feelings, and we do not let them sit. We don't digest them. We word vomit. We say things we don't necessarily completely wholeheartedly understand and mean, which is fine. You're human. It's not, I'm not trying to here to unvalidate or devalue your emotions and things like that. I'm not trying to slap you in the face. That's not what I'm trying to do. But there's a lot of things that we don't take into considerations. We don't process. I'm not tooting my horn. I'm not tooting anybody's horn, but I do try my best to consider things as much and as far as possible. Sometimes it's a flaw, because sometimes I sit there and I overthink. I'm not perfect, but I do practice these scenarios because I've led my overthinking into a better. I've transmuted it into a better tool, a resource. So if I'm sitting here overthinking something, I'm gonna wonder why I'm overthinking and processing this information. Like where did this come from? What part of my trauma branch did this reach into my personal life and needs to be learned and dealt with like currently right now, and like why? Is there some immediate relationship I'm in? Friendship, relationship, whatever? And is it reflecting back on me? Because not always, for the most part, your relationships are going to be a really, really good indicator of where you stand mentally, health wise, um, and just self love, all of that sort of stuff. It's going to reflect back on you and who you are, what you're willing to put up with, and a lot of your core values. Excuse me, I'm going to go blow my nose. My voice may have changed, but I'm still the same person, I promise. Not really, but the thing is we gotta really understand and process this information, and I mean in like a very intellectual way, a very intimate and intellectual way, because intimacy and intellectualism, I don't think that's a word, but both of those go very hand in hand, or they should be. Maybe not, they don't go hand in hand, but they should be. Especially when we're talking about like real scenarios, real life situations, real life decision making, because let's be real, time is very valuable, and it's very easy to get caught up in wasting time, and then we can hold on to a lot of baggage and hold on to a lot of resentment if we haven't done all of the processing and healing. And maybe you're one of those free-hearted persons and you just feel like your purpose here is to love, and I get it, I totally do. But there's a lot of things that you need to face as far as your shadow and your light, because like the whole people have to accept me for who I am thing. I'm sorry, but it is complete and utter bullshit. Nobody needs to accept you the way you are. Like if you're a psychopath, just mirroring a situation. If you're a psychopath, I'm not going to put up with you. I don't need to put up with you. And good luck finding somebody else who's going to put up with you, because that's going to be a very scary situation. I'm just saying, let's be real with ourselves. Let's be honest here, because that's what this channel is all about. Yeah, I get banned 24/7, but I wonder why. It's because I'm raw meating you guys, okay? So be real with yourself. Don't come over here being dishonest with me. It ain't gonna work out. But be honest with yourself. I don't care if you're honest with me. Be honest with yourself. Because you're going to need this. You're going to need this life advice at some point. I mean, this is why you're here. It really is. But, like, when you're not processing information, when you're not sitting there and understanding your emotions and you're validating the feelings and why you feel a certain way to somebody, like understanding the connection, one, why are you in love with somebody? Is it because of materialism, like things that they can provide for you? Are you looking for like a good like father figure or a good mother figure? Or are you looking for somebody who has the same goals as you, the same like life goals, lifestyle? Or do you just want somebody with common interests, somebody that you can get along with and you're going to have like this commonality, common value where you can actually grow and build a friendship? Like what are the things that you value and that are important to you and what goes along with that and aligns with that. Because if there are things that do not align with that, you need to really understand your emotions and your feelings. And are these real or are these just a stir of the moment? I'm caught up in these feelings. I'm not really processing real intellectual information. I'm just feeling things and I'm going with those feelings. Like, we need to be honest with ourselves. Are we in an emotional state where we want somebody to accept us? This is a very big one, okay? Are we wanting them to accept us and they accept us for who we are and so we're in love with that? Because that is validation. And it may work out for a little while, but eventually all of your insecurities are going to catch up with you. And maybe it's going to be on like a drunkster night. You know, like 7 years down in the relationship, you just get blackout drunk and everything pours out into the table. That shit happens. Be real with yourself. Be real with other people and understand situations and things that just come up at a stir of a moment because they do. Emotions are like that. Thoughts are like that. Validation is like that too. So, are you in love with the emotions and the feelings and the emotional security that they bring to you? Or are you actually intellectually and physically and emotionally and creatively? I know creativity is weird, it's a strange one, but that can actually fit into your relationship and be really great, especially if you're wanting somebody who's a partner and wants to grow with you. But anyway, are you experiencing the emotions and the feelings the way you need to be, or are you just letting them pass through you like you do with everything else in life? I love you, and I know the whole go with the flow thing, and it is very important, don't get me wrong. But, like, you still have to intellectually process some of this information and understand it. Maybe do some journaling, and just think about the things that you need to process. Speaking of journaling, I need to do some more right after this video because I got some things to process too. Let's be real. And like, you know, I only do this. My hair's crazy because I keep touching it. It's the allergies, I think. My point is, though, like, there's a lot of things that we accept and love. Like, if somebody is smothering you and you feel a little chaos and you don't feel secure in the relationship because somebody's just overstimulating you, one, you should be putting down boundaries. You should be communicating that. You should tell them, like, hey, I get that this is normal for you. Maybe you shouldn't say that. Don't, don't misdirect that. Don't say that at all, actually, because it comes from a bad place. Like, try to understand that that person is who they are and accept them for who they are. And if you aren't capable of doing that, you shouldn't be looking out to somebody and expect them to change for you. You shouldn't expect to be able to change them and all kinds of other things. Like, I think that should be a basic understanding. If you're watching this channel, you probably already understand that. So I won't reconfirm that. You should really honestly already know that. But like, if somebody's overstimulating you, that emotion's valid. Like, you can be overstimulated by somebody. I know personally that I'm guilty of it. Especially when I'm like not distracting myself because I need to have like more hobbies or something going on and I just don't have things going on in my life. And this actually I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's a number one killer for marriages. I know infidelity or whatever is the biggest one or whatever, but I know that there's a lot of other things that play along with that too, and it's not just like people. Anyway, we're not talking about cheating. That's not the purpose of this video, but like not communicating strong boundaries, not communicating how you feel intellectually, emotionally, and just like communicating like wholeheartedly. Like the number one reason when you're not communicating is that because you feel like you're gonna scare them away, they're going to get triggered and overreact. Maybe they just won't understand where you're coming from. You have no idea how often you misunderstand that because you don't know how somebody's going to take you. You don't know how somebody's going to process the information that you bring to them. And so a lot of people dwell in fear. They dwell in fear and never actually communicate how they really feel on a core level. And so later down the line, it rolls and rolls and it makes this giant ball of yarn. Sorry, I saw a giant ball of yarn yesterday. That's why it's in my head. But it rolls over and it just creates this giant ball of yarn. And you have no idea where to put any of this. It's just a giant tangled mess of yarn, twine, whatever. And now it has no purpose. You can't do anything with it because it's just too big. And so one day, I think this will be my analogy. One day it sets fire because it's twine. It gets caught up in the light triggers it a certain way, and then it catches and bursts into flames. This is metaphors for you. This is the best I can do, I'm sorry. But like if you're not communicating things are my point is they will build up eventually and you will get triggered, and it's happened to me before by the way. You will get triggered and you will explode. A part of you that you are not okay with will come out. And you will live in self-resentment. You will resent yourself because how you reacted to them because you didn't communicate yourself. You were the one to blame. Process that one. Connections are extremely important, but you have to really wholeheartedly understand a connection, what it means, what purpose they are serving in your life. And I'm sorry, people do serve purpose. You can have like an open and honest relationship, and maybe there isn't a whole lot of meaning towards your relationship that you don't understand, but there is purpose in your relationships. There is purpose in the way you live. You wouldn't just live with somebody who is like a complete stranger to you. At least for the most part. I know that those situations happen, but those are not real connections, and I'm pretty sure that those people know that. You need to quit trying to validate all of your emotions. And I know this comes from a very, very deep place that you don't really want to always face. But validating your emotions is one step. Cool. You go ahead and validate your emotions. Maybe I'm a little wrong about that one. But you gotta understand where it's coming from. Like, is this a solid connection? Would we get along in the long run? Would I feel safe around this person? Would they accept me for who I am when I'm not the person I am today? Because I have flaws. And I know what my flaws are. But I also don't know what some of them will be. Will they love me and accept me, but not too damn much, where I'm turning myself into a monster and I'm never analyzing myself because they don't communicate that toxicity back to me? Do you guys communicate very well? This is like the biggest one with connections. Like, what is your communication level at? Do you talk to them intellectually and do they talk back and respond? Or do they react? Do they get overburdened? Do they get exhausted from you? Or is there something lust related? Could lust be the emotion that you feel? Because this is a big one, and people don't understand. They think that, like, oh, well, I would know if I was in lust with somebody. Like, I know when something's just purely sexual. No, you don't. There's so many other drugs in your brain, chemicals in your brain, so many physical pheromones, things that aren't even on our scientific charts right now yet. Like, that we do not understand on like an intimate or an intellectual level about love, first of all. So you will not always know when you're in lust. It is energy, it is serotonin, it is dopamine, it is these intense emotions that throw you off track and get you caught up in a time frame that you want to keep reliving. That is not built on a strong foundation, and you can get really caught up in it really easily, and you can think that it's love. I would suggest doing further research because this episode's not really about lust and stuff like that, but I would do some more research on that one for sure. Maybe I'll talk about it in the next topic or something. But like your connection with somebody spiritually is really, really important. It's not going to be everything because there are some okay, I'm going to call some people, there's some spiritual predators out there. I haven't come across too many of them, but some of them have like some dude like literally hit me up on Facebook once and was like, yo, do you believe that the moon is real? And I told him that I did a certain way, and he basically told me my IQ was really low and that I would never make it as his wifey or something like that. I don't know. That's just the general thing that he said to me. Anyway, that guy was crazy. But like people actually go out of their way to try to like intellectually intimidate you or like bring this spiritual like they'll tell you like, "Hey babe, do you want to know my astrology chart? Do you want to know my birth chart so we could go over this together and maybe do some Reiki or some energy with you. I don't know. But there's people who will like use that as leverage, so but that's a whole other point. That's a whole other story. That's a like you're gonna have to look out for them on yourself, but don't be paranoid either. You can usually tell when somebody's being fake, period. For the most part. I don't know. Maybe not everybody's capable of it, but you gotta understand these connections are really important because people get really get caught up, and I am guilty of it too. People get really caught up in the whole twin flame journey, the soulmate journey. People come to me all the time, and not trying to hate on y'all, knock on y'all at all, cause I get it, I totally do. But a lot of people come to me for like relationship advice, relationship questions through the tarot. They want to know specifically, is this person thinking about me? And one, tarot doesn't work that way. I'm not gonna mislead you. I would never try to mislead you. You're never gonna be able to read somebody's thoughts based on some cards. I don't care how spiritual you are, babe. Don't go around lying to people. Yeah, it gives you a good premise. You're supposed to use okay, first of all, the number one rule in tarot is using discernment, taking what resonates and leaving the rest. That's like three rules, but that's what you basically do is you use discernment, you understand what you do, and you leave out the rest. Sometimes we don't sit there with the things that we're supposed to, and that's why we relive karmic situations and karmic cycles, and it's so frustrating, I know, but that's why you're never gonna go and understand. And if you're going out of your way to like get some clarification, some validation with about your connection, there's something off. And if there's something off, You already have something to work with and figure out intellectually and emotionally. You don't need to go to some guru, some life expert or tarot reader to figure that one out. You are going for confirmation. Go for confirmation readings for sure. Go for confirmation readings. That's the anytime I look at tarot, I'm sorry, I am not going to sit here and listen to a tarot reading and be like, oh, that's why this motherfucker's crazy and that's why he's been doing all these things. I'm never going to take any of my readings that way. I'm gonna look at them, I'm gonna be like, okay, this theme's come up, cool. I'm gonna wait for some confirmations and I'm gonna think about it and I'm gonna sit with it and I'm gonna be like, okay, well, this theme keeps coming up. There's a reason it keeps coming up. And this is the way you should take spirituality, period. Like, you are going to relive a lot of karmic situations, karmic relationships in particular, because you need to have this confirmation. This is your spiritual side, by the way. We're going to dive a little deeper into the intuition, intellectual part of it. So, you go for the not the validation but for the confirmation of the things that you intellectually and intuitively figured out on your own without the reading. Okay, you can do that. You are capable of that. Give yourself some more credit, and if you're feeling it and it's coming through, you should figure out if it's an insecurity or if it has some validation. Because if somebody if you're concerned about some dude looking at some other chick's profile pics and this is what you're going to your reader for, you already know the answer. Okay? I love you. Don't hurt yourself over some petty boy who likes hookup culture, okay? But anyway, that's not the point. The point is when you're looking for spiritual connections, somebody is going to usually click with you. You're going to feel the chills when you think about this type of connection. And it's not going to be constant and it's not going to always make sense. It's going to come up when you just randomly have a thought about them. You're going to get the chills and it's going to be all over your body. And this isn't the only confirmation. There's so many other confirmations that you got to figure out and evaluate. Everyone's journey is different. But there's things that you have to consider in your personal life, because just because it's a spiritual connection, a soulmate, a twin flame, I don't care. Maybe twin flames are real as and they don't. They aren't some karmic loop that you've been sent through to figure yourself out with so you can do your dark night of the soul organically. Maybe they are valid, maybe they are real, these connections, these twin flame connections. Maybe that person was actually your twin flame and maybe y'all were meant to trigger each other because you reflect back on each other so corely. Sorry, I'm gonna die. But just because you have that type of connection with somebody doesn't mean you should end up with them. Like, there's other factors in the universe. I'm not saying, like, push some magical ass experience away, like somebody who could be your, like, best friend, your lover. But you gotta understand that maybe somebody, just because they are your twin flame, or maybe because they are your soulmate, maybe they just changed their mind. That happens. And it's totally cool. It's totally valid. But, like, maybe they weren't ready. Maybe there's some growing up that both of y'all gotta do. Maybe you're gonna meet them again in their, like, in y'all's 40s or 50s or whatever after you've experienced a bunch of life. It should never, ever be your priority. Relationships should never be your priority. And if they are, I can guarantee that you're in a karmic relationship. Guarantee it. I'm sorry. There's some things that I do know I do know intuitively, and it's like you're in a karmic cycle, you're in a karmic loop, because if there's all these things that you're trying to figure out, and your mind's going all over the place, your energy's all over the place, it's all chaotic, you're in a karmic relationship. There are things that you need to evaluate about yourself and why you're being stuck here, why you're letting yourself get stuck here. So process that. take it all into consideration and process it, okay? I think that's basically what I have for like the spiritual connections and the romance and stuff. But yeah, I hope all of that makes sense and maybe process some of that sacrificing. Maybe think about the things that you need to sacrifice, are willing to sacrifice, and okay, I thought it was 5:33. It's 5:53. Maybe just process that information and understand what you're willing to sacrifice without anybody else being involved, just organically, like with some complete stranger. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice with a complete stranger that you met on the bus and isn't no. Just consider that, and then consider like a beautiful woman, a smart guy, whatever you're into. Consider that. Consider it being your soulmate and your twin flame. Go through this chart, make like a chart or something, and like, what are you, without knowing them, and without knowing what that connection is going to be like. By the way, okay, this is the one thing I did miss. Just because you're in that connection, just because you have a spiritual connection with somebody, does not mean it's a solid relationship. It does not mean that it's solidified. It does not mean that you've learned everything that you need to learn about self-love and um, unconditional love, as well as conditional love. Uh, there's a lot of things that you or they may have not learned yet. So, just because it's a spiritual connection, I'm saying the quotations because you shouldn't take it so powerfully. Take it seriously for sure, because obviously y'all's paths like crossed for a reason. There was something that y'all had to learn together. There just was. Whether y'all went separate ways, y'all are madly in love with each other, whether there's nothing that you can do about this relationship right here and now, don't worry about it. Maybe something might happen in the future and things will work out for you in the future. Like maybe there's this ideal vision that you have about life that's actually the thing that's holding you back. If you got rid of that vision, if you got rid of that validation, and if you got rid of that ideology, what would be left? I'm just saying. I hope I hope today's video wasn't too long. I hope y'all can process that. And if there's anything I haven't really covered in spiritual connections, definitely hit me up in the comment section below. I will do my best to cover everything. I think I'm gonna make a bunch of different series, to be honest. I need to make a witchcraft series, playlist, and an alchemy playlist, and continue on with my goddess series. So I'm not giving up on any of those. I just need to continue with the growth. So yeah, I hope today's video helped you figure something out. Love you. Peace. Bye.